Hello everyone, welcome to the 7th webinar of our Microseismic and the Geomechanics webinar series. My name is Junwei. Today's speaker is Dr. Sean Maxwell.
Okay, great. Thank you, Junwei. Welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're dialing in from. It's a pleasure to give this webinar today. I did change the topic a little bit. The initial intent was to give a presentation on a case study of using geomechanical interpretation of microseismic. That'll be an aspect of what I'll be presenting today, but I want to take a step back and talk about the value proposition associated with microseismic. And the material I'll be going through today is a synopsis of a few presentations I've given over the last few months. It seems there's been an increased industry interest in the value proposition around microseismic, and I thought it might be a more topical material for the webinar this morning. So on the topic of microseismic value proposition, this is just on the right-hand side, kind of a laundry list of different applications of how microseismic's been used in the industry for using things like obviously optimizing stimulation design or validating the completion design on a wellbore. In certain cases, refining the well plan in terms of well orientation and landing points. And I think there's good value proposition from microseismic through those, and but I think the greatest value proposition we can face is by using it as more of a reservoir management tool, and that's trying to leverage microseismic as one in a number of field observations to help inform decisions on well spacing, well placement, and stage sequencing. So I'm going to go through some general comments about microseismic, conceptual models of interpreting microseismic, and then I'll touch on the question of well spacing and well sequencing. And then I'm also going to quickly touch on induced seismicity as another good current example of a value proposition for microseismic. I often hear the question of, we collected microseismic and we didn't make any changes to the engineering design, so what's the value of collecting the data? And there's certainly a number of projects that I've seen where the microseismic's collected, and then after the fact, a company might start to ask the question of, how are we going to use this to change design? And there can be value for microseismic in that scenario, but it can be sometimes difficult to quantify what the value that microseismic brings in that sort of scenario beyond just imaging the fracture system. In contrast to that, on the left-hand side of the screen is just two case studies from the Eagle Ford Shale. And I showed these previously in an earlier webinar, but I think they're very good examples of using microseismic proactively as a diagnostic tool. So the top example is just looking at a deviated wellbore, different perforation shots or perforations, or basically testing different landing points, and then microseismic in conjunction with other diagnostics can be used then to make a decision on what's the optimal landing point for a well. And then the bottom case is again for the Eagle Ford. In this example, the injection rate was varied stage by stage. And then the microseismic can be used to directly infer what, let's say, the optimal injection rate might be for that particular area. And there's a number of other examples like that of using microseismic in a very proactive manner. And that's, I think, a very nice way of achieving value from microseismic by using it as a proactive diagnostic tool around specifically designed tests on the well or the frac design.